this scale or shape is just the most incredible thing in the universe. It works over 7 of the 9 different chord families or stacks, if you look at it that way. It has a tremendous value on guitar because it can be used as a frame to see the melodic minor scale all over the neck in 12 keys without moving any more than 1 fret in either direction. That scale, melodic minor, which I don't use that scale anymore except when I'm talking to students who know it that way. I think of it as a mode called Lydian dominant, and that will be a topic for another day. But as far as the transpositions necessary to play over altered chord types, dominant pentatonic is just an incredible frame. And we're going to go over a progression. This is more advanced. This is for my advanced friends, who've got a harmony background. But anybody's more than welcome to check it out and see what you think of the shape. In each one, we'll go over different ways to apply the scale, and I think it's worth it for anybody to investigate this in depth, this shape. There's basically, this is an idea that works in country like, I would say maybe country, great country players, this is just their, they get their teeth into this thing right away, dominant pentatonic. In rock, it's incredible. In funk, in blues, it's just endless. From hardcore rock type blues to hardcore blues to bebop to, it's just a never-ending source of joy for me. You got to put it that way. And as I said, the miracle for us as guitar players is that it can be used as a frame to see all 12 keys of melodic minor anywhere on the neck with no more than 1 fret movement in either direction. And I'll show that in some other overviews. And of course, it's already available to you in different lessons of mine. This is a more sophisticated progression. It's a turnaround. And I'm going to show you how dominant pentatonic is functioning against the 2 chord in minor, and then what would be called the flat 2 or dominant, which is the 13 plus 11 chord. Some people think of that as a flat 5 substitution, and I'll talk about that for a second. And then over altered dominant, which, if you know your chord families, the Grove system of chord families, then that's chord family 8. If you're just familiar with the chord stacks, it means every altered tone available. Flat 9, raised 9, flat 5, raised 5. Okay, and because as we know, there's one other form of altered dominant that has the regular 13th in it, and that's symmetric. So we're not talking about that one. So in this case, it's E7, flat 9, raised 9, flat 5, raised 5, or any combinations thereof. So our progression is F sharp minor 7, flat 5, excuse me, F9, E7 altered to A minor. Here it is. So much fun. Okay, so there's our progression. Let's talk about the very first chord. F sharp minor 7 flat 5. It's the 2 chord in E minor. The way we think of dominant pentatonic over the minor 7 flat 5 chord, and I've got to say up front, this is one of my primary reasons that I ask all my students in classes or private to think dominant pentatonic and Lydian dominant and just throw melodic minor out the door. Just like every scale, it's just a restricted group of tones that somebody put a name to it. And that's fine. And the scale is great. But for us, the way we need to think, it's a tremendous hassle. This, doing the transpositions and saying, here's F sharp minor 7 flat 5, the scale source is A melodic minor. So for beginning to serious intermediate players, getting that nailed down in 12 keys is the hardest thing in the universe. And it was for me until I came across this approach or I developed it for myself because it was such a hassle. And I always found myself chasing what we call chasing roots. Now I got to think up a minor third, and where's that A? You know, here's F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Where's that A? And then I'll play a melodic minor. That doesn't happen to me anymore because I'm using the frame of dominant pentatonic to get through this chord. So I had the great fortune of studying with an incredible guitar player named Ted Green. And from a very young age, he was always, hitting me with the idea of plurality and seeing shapes that are upper extensions of larger chord forms. This is D9. And, I started learning that when I was really young. And kids were like, why do you keep telling me about this? Well, now I know why. So, and it's a big deal. This chord family has a regular ninth in it. So F sharp minor 11 flat 5 with the regular 9 G sharp. So you know what, if I say, what if we play this chord? That's D13 sharp 11. Well, that's what F sharp minor 11 flat 5 raised 5 is. It's the exact same chord with a different root. So there is no transpositions anymore. When I see this chord, it's D9 to me. And then I use D dom pent. Now, if I to fill in using 2 other tones that turn it into Lydian dominant, or as you might want to keep thinking in melodic minor, that's fine. But here's, now anywhere on the neck, I go to D dom pent over this chord. If I want to add the 2 notes, I do it to color. Like I salt my food to taste. And so I don't have to think 7-note scale anymore. Okay, I want to put that in. Right, so here's my shapes of dominant pentatonic, D dom pent. One more time. Sorry, I didn't make it. It's for the next chord. But there's all 5 shapes of D dom pent. And it just works beautifully. and it has its own sound, just like major/minor pentatonic has its own sound. And that's why is it used? Because it's a shape that's very cool, and you can get away with it over chord progressions that don't have anything sometimes to do with the scale. That's what the blues scale is about, right? Everybody, yeah, it's just our ears saying, what does E flat 9 have to do with that, for example? Nothing, but that's okay, because our ear has said, I'm fine with a shape. That's all a dominant pentatonic is a shape. I've had students come to me and say, well, that's just G9, right? It's an arpeggio. And I said, yeah, tell me about what major pentatonic is. What is that? It's a major 6 arpeggio. What's the difference? I'm not getting the point. So this is the idea. You can think of it as an arpeggio, and then you're going to miss out on a whole universe of what it's like as a pentatonic shape in 5 or the pentatonic scale with the 5 different shapes, just like we know major all over the neck and see the value of that. So we have that range, and we have ownership over the neck with that source. Same thing. I am getting into it a little bit, but I want to excite some people to see the power of this. Those of you who want to get more and more advanced, dominant pentatonic is a way to get into every chord type. And that's why I put this progression together, is so we could take a look at the other ones real quickly. So the next chord is F9. I think of it as, in just for right now, because I can't do a 2-hour lesson on just a quick overview, but I think of this as a flat 5 substitution for B7 altered, meaning all 4 alterations. And if you do your homework with it, or if you already have, you know that F13 sharp 11 is the same chord as B7 flat 9 raised 9 flat 5 raised 5. Exact same notes with a different bass. That's why we always hear with the bass players, right? So again, transpositions for me just disappear. This and this are the same exact chord. Okay? So now I'm going D, Dom pen, F, Dom pen, B flat. Okay, and now as if you might remember, the third chord is E7 altered, and I'm going thinking flat 5 over this chord. It's so beautiful, and there's 2 of them you can use: B flat and C. Superimpose B flat and C Dom pen on top of each other, and you end up with G melodic minor, which is the scale source for this chord, isn't it? D Dom, F, B flat, anytime I want to add those tones that I said, adding color, yeah, I'm going to do it now a little bit more. So. It really, really works. So one of the first things we do, I do with my students, is I say, there's a common thing here when we think about 2/5 in minor. And I said, here's D Dom Pent to F Dom Pent. So what that is we think of D Dom Pent to F Dom Pent, and we're really nailing it as far as 2/5-1 in minor. F. So you start getting used to those shapes. Right? And when I'm going to do another overview just on static chords, like just a regular diatonic 2-chord D Dom Pent. In other words, the dominant pentatonic off the 5th of the key always works great. And there's a lot of great, I won't use names, but just guys who've been around, some of the best fusion players just already own this stuff and have been doing it for 30, 40 years. So I'm going to put D Dom Pent against the last chord, which is A minor 7. B flat, A minor, it's pretty hard to go wrong with this shape. And as you see, the access that I have to it all over the neck, and it's quick and pretty simple once you use the visual guide tone approach. So I know I threw a lot of stuff out there all in one fell swoop, but it's nice to just hear what's going on. This is just the shapes. I would never have to necessarily use the other tones from the 7-note scale. You could say, hey, I'm going to do a round, like you get in the real book and pull out a tune and just say, hey, one of my rounds of this doing the head, like I'm going to do 3 solos over this progression, one of them could just literally be Dom Pent. we have all kinds of stuff. Have fretboard freedom available for you if you want to investigate dominant pentatonic in depth. It just, again, every genre. If you're not into jazz, or this is, just doing a Latin kind of thing with, it just is killer in all genres. And we have examples of that. All right, my friends.